Well, good afternoon. Hello from Willow, Alaska. So I wanted to do you some quicker little modeling things, one little tool at a time. I wanted to show you something that I just find very helpful on Aspire that's kind of fun to make some quick little models. So I'm going to show you how to make a lantern, a little oil lantern really quickly. So let me switch back to sharing screens for a few minutes. We'll do this. There we go. So what I want to show you how to build is I've kind of opened up a folder here. So let's go ahead and open that. I created a new folder a while ago and I set this up. So I'll open it up. And I wanted to show you how to build mechanical items like this that are sort of, they're the same on the left as they are on the right. And Aspire has some amazing tools to make this look really cool. So I wanted to walk you through a real quick, I made one of these the other day for my Christmas card piece. And I wanted to show you guys how I did this because I think it's something you'd all enjoy doing. And you can use this for so many different little things. And it's just a fun little tool. So this is a little gas lantern. And I have it set up. I'm going to make it quite a bit larger. I'm going to put a handle up here. That's why I have it down low in the area to work in. But what I'm going to do, I have it set up exactly on center. So I work really carefully. The images aren't all necessarily centered in the photo. So I want to have this right on my Z just because it makes some parts of this easier to work with. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to create some vectors. I'm in the drawing tool right now. I'm going to go over and create some vectors. And what you're seeing here is this lantern is you're not looking straight at it. You're looking at it from slightly above. So the perspective is screwed up to the point that you're looking down on this. So trying to copy the edges of this shape isn't going to get you what we're after. So we're going to cheat a little bit. So I'm going to start this side edge here is my kind of target area. So I'm going to start right here at center. I'm going to come over straight to here. And you can see that there's some little I'm going to zoom in quite a bit here. I'm going to try to create we want to do what we can to make that straight across. There it is. And Vectrix helps because you can see on these lines here, you can see it breaking up if it's not straight. So we're going to put a couple little to capture that bottom lip. And then we're going to get this bigger curve here. I went a little bit too far, so I'm going to undo, come about here. And then I'm going to come up straight up to capture what is this bottom base area. Now I'm ignoring the handles on both sides, and you guys will see why in a few minutes. But this straight over from here is where that curve would start. I got to back that down a little bit. So I'm about straight over from here, and then we can see it kind of goes like this. There's a little bit of a curve, and then up to here, I'm going to try to capture that curve here. We'll come back and do some node editing to make this curve smoother. And then there's a small lip right here. Comes over and then it goes straight up. This is all going to seems a little bit counterintuitive for a minute. Then we're going to go to here and up to about here. And then we have a nice curve to capture that shape. And then we come into where the globe starts, and we're going to just use the globe as our next piece. Undo, I'm going to hit that right there, and I want a little curve here. And then we know have a bit of a cap here. So we're going to go like this, come into here, up to here. And again, this comes out to about here, and then a little, we can come back and note edit this curve a little bit better in the future. Some of this you can't see real clearly what the detail is. So I'm adding some edges and flanges and stuff that may not exist there. Now I'm going to add that little tiny handle later, but now I'm going to come over again right to center. Okay, remember we started at center. And we're going to go finish. So now what we've done is created a vector on just half of this lamp, and it's taken us 3 or 4 minutes or whatever it took to do that. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to come up here and share so you can watch what happens on the left side of that. I'm going to come over here and use this tool, which is, if you haven't used it, it's create shape by spinning or turning a vector. So this is particularly good if you look at an item and go, well, you could turn that on a lathe for the most part. This is what this would do. So I use this, like I made the Christmas train last year and all the stacks were made out of it. If you want to make a real pretty bell, you can use this tool. So I'm going to just say, I'm going to click on this. And it's going to say, now I've got to click, I have to select a vector. So I'm going to create the vector I just said, and it says rotate around a line from start point to end point. So it's going to rotate this thing around the start and the end point. I'm going to say, and it's going to say 2 inches high. I'm going to let it go with that for right now, and we'll see what it turns out. I'm going to hit apply. And this thing spins for a minute, and boom, just like that, you kind of have that lantern built in minutes, and it's detailed and it looks really cool. Now, what comes of this, now remember, I told you when you looked at the lantern, you're looking down on it so you see perspective. So if you look at your carving, when you tilt it like this, you pick this perspective up again. So you start to see that because you're looking down on the flange here at the bottom, for example. But when you're building these things, you have to be picturing them in your head that you're looking perfectly straight at them. And that's why it takes a little imagination to trace it. So then to finish something like this off, I'm going to turn that off so I don't see the model for a minute. Get this back up to full size. I'm going to do a little bit more line drawing, and I'm just going to go from here. I'm going to start right here. Some of these little details I'm going to leave off because I think they clutter up the simplicity of this piece. We'll deal with those little round hooks here in a little bit separately because I'm just going to use the drawing tool to make. So now we've drawn in one of the handles. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that vector and I'm going to say copy. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to use this tool over here to flip it to the right, flip. And now I have this vector right. I've just already created it. So I'm going to just pull it over to this other side and place it right on top of it. So I don't have to draw it twice. I'm going to hit close. Now I have two of those vectors there. We'll go down here to model and we'll turn our lamp back on so you can see it again. And I'm going to create a model again of the handles really quick. And I have them set for, I'm going to put them about, remember that thing's about 2 inches deep. So you can play with that, and you could do, there's some, I'm going to hit apply. Just want to show you this. Also, you could do, you could use, create a shape by extruding, and you could get that heavy scalloping that's on these handles if you felt like doing that. Typically, and you can play with that some more, but that was not the tool I came here to show you today. And then I'm going to use the drawing round tool like this. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Not like that, much bigger. Put this in here about here. That's a little too big. And I'm going to tell it to make it, I don't know, a 1/4 inch smaller inwards, boom. Maybe I'll make it 0.3 smaller offset. Okay. So now we're going to take those two vectors together. We're going to hit copy and paste. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to move them over to this side. Now you could have done this at the same time. The reason that's grabbing and clicking is because I have this button clicked right here and it takes it. And it tries to snap them to a specific line. So we'll take that pair of vectors and this pair of vectors, and we'll go back to modeling. And I'm just going to say, we'll make that quite a bit smaller. We'll hit a, whoops, apply. And we'll make it so it's not additive. So it, boom. So now we have the rings on the side of that. So this is the basics that now we can, let's say we want to put a handle on there, and we can do the same. I'm just going to go use the drawing tool really quick, and we'll go up here like this. You know, just manually draw this in, and I'm fine with that. And then let's make that, let's take a, so I have a 1/2 inch circle right here. I'm going to bring this over here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller because that's bigger than I want. So we came down to that size. I'm going to hit I just want 1/2 of it. Then I'm going to use another modeling tool right now to make that into a wire handle. And we're going to go back to modeling, and it's going to say, create a shape by extruding along one or more centerline vectors. So we've selected that vector right there. And it says use selection. I go, yeah, that's the one I want to use. And then it asks me what's the shape I want to make it extrude to. So I hold shift down and I hit this small shape here. Now what it should create, apply. And there you have a wire, a round wire strap that's been made that way. So apply. So I'll show you one more thing here quick, just while we're playing with the tools, and then really I'm not going to do much more than that. So let's, up here, let's put a handle on this, and we're going to go back, and there's other ways of doing this, but I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to come up like this. So again, I've drawn kind of a terrible vector here, but I'll come back in. I'm going to fix it a little bit by, I'm going to hit the S key and it makes all these, so I can soften these edges a bit and straighten some things out, make a few corrections to what I want it to look like, but not much. I'm not really trying to make this exactly perfect for you guys to see. You can make the handle look however you wanted to do it. And then we're going to repeat the same thing we did for building the lantern. And I'm going to go back to modeling, and I'm going to say, create a shape by spinning and turning a vector, just like we did for the lantern. I'm going to say turn around the point. I don't want it to be 2 inches thick, so I'm going to say make it 0.5, half an inch, and let's hit apply, and we should get a nice round shaped handle up there. And you can see what appeared up there, and the same additive how you combine components occurs here. So we've got kind of an interesting handle up there. I'm going to add a little depth to the apply. And you can see the wires kind of shown here in part of it. So I'm going to close that for a minute. And that component, I'll just open up here. And I'll add a little base height to it. It makes that go away. Close. So now what we've created, and I mean, there's some other things you can play with here. I think there's a fuel cap down here at the bottom of this. If we turn this all off, see how there's a fuel cap down here? Well, let's just add that fuel cap in right here. And to do that, I'm going to draw an oval. Right down here, if I can get myself to draw an oval. Close. And then, quick little standard model building thing. I'll hit apply, and we'll see what shows up down here. And it's got to be additive because we don't want the shape of the, so it's going to make it disappear. So now we have to make it, remember we made that thing about 2 inches deep. So we're probably going to have to make the fuel cap. So you can see here the fuel cap's just starting to come out through the model, maybe more than I want it to right here. So the way I'm going to make that fuel cap look correct is I'm going to take that down to about an inch and a quarter for the base height. And then I'm going to come down in here and hit tilt. And I'm going to say set. And click on the top of this fuel cap right here, because that's the hinge or the anchor point. And then I'll click on the bottom of it a second time. And you can see it's already set at 10. I'm going to hit apply, and that you should see the bottom of that cap tip out. You would if there was any real depth. There you go. So we have a fuel cap at the bottom of this. We should close. And that's kind of it. And that's what, man, I just love these couple of tools here in modeling for building mechanical items. And I thought you guys would enjoy seeing that. And it's the kind of thing you can have fun with pretty quick and build some pretty cool architectural field type devices or just mechanical shaped items. So there's a quick class on how to use a couple modeling tools and build a lantern. So thanks for joining us. You can contact us at Scott Art CNC on Etsy store. We got a lot of models and stuff in there. You can send custom requests there. We do a little bit of training out of that site too. And we got a little art gallery up in Willow, Alaska. So stop in and see us if you're ever in Alaska. So thanks for stopping and looking.